Hello, everyone. This is Kim Victoria again, and I did something I've never done before. Um, this whole journal, I've never done anything like this before, but I simply had to try. This is Natasha's layered journal, and she had two tutorials for it, and I thought it was fascinating. So this is my version with my supplies, because everybody has different supplies. And I had a lot of supplies that had to do with travel. And I think most of them came from that lovely lady that gave me just a huge, there was like I don't know, there were like 3 boxes full of all sorts of scrapbook stuff. So there was a scrapbook kit, a couple paper pads. Oh my goodness, all kinds of stuff. And then my sister-in-law's given me things, and I just have lots of stuff. So I don't need to go get anything. This is, look at how full this is. I mean, wow. So I thought I'd just go through it with you. I enjoyed this. And it took me the better part, I worked on it for 3 days, not full time, but actually quite a lot of time for 2 days. Now, Natasha didn't talk about how long it took her to make the first journal, but she worked on the video for 3 days, making the second one and doing the video and the editing and everything. It took her 3 full days. So I don't feel so bad. Um, so yeah, the theme for this is travel because I have all this stuff that has to do with travel. And I have some beads. So this was the beads, they're very tiny and they have tiny holes. So I used a strong wax cord and I just poked it through the hole of the bead. I couldn't even do a needle, but I was able to do that. So that came out really good. I did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hole pamphlet stitch, which works great. It's just you start in the middle and you go in and out and in and out and in and out and in and out, and you just make figure eights all over the place. Okay, so the first page, I just pulled stuff out and did a collage. And it came out really cute, and I did a little button there, poked holes through. It's kind of a lot to handle. It's just so big. Right. So, and then I had some, the one of the paper pads has some map pages. So I rubber stamped some tea-dyed card, and that was one of the stickers. So, a little pocket. And on this side, I have another. I used some thread, and this thread is actually, I've got a bag full from the Safari journal. So I'm able to now use that for a lot of things. So I didn't do the big long embellishment that Natasha did, but I was able to rubber stamp a couple of these tickets and put a little corner in there and make a little tag. This is from one of those paper pads. They had a lot of travel kinds of things. So that's a trip checklist. That's kind of fun. So I just found some little cards and things to put in. This is an actual page from a passport. It's a visa page. It was an old expired passport. So we have I did some rubber stamping and just did a little paper pad, made another paper pad. This one is on the belly band. I was following her making of it step by step. I thought I was actually going to take it easy, kind of I just needed a little in between project to kind of clear my head from the May project that is almost finished. Um, and this wound up taking 3 days. So it's all those, I had the floor out here just covered with boxes where I was pulling things out. So just some fun little things to clip in. And I made the hinge just like she did. And I put eyelets in it, and I had these little luggage keys. So I put these are like from, I remember my mother had one. It was like a hard case, toiletries piece of luggage, and it had little small keys. These came in a bag of keys that it was given to me by my sister-in-law. So those are really cute. And then I tore and made a pocket here. So let's go. It's from one of the kits. And this belly band, I decided I didn't want anything hanging off the bottom. Both of Natasha's, she has things hanging off the bottom. But I did make this really long, so you could see the top of it up here, and did a little punch out in there. And these are from a fake butterfly that had a little hard body, so I took the wings off and I used them in back of the little balloon. And I had a separate sticker book that had a balloon with clouds. And I went, well, that's fun. And this is like a matchbook type, but I did it with a little side folder, just a little bit of an alternative. These are all, did I run it through? No. These are all brads holding two layers of, I took apart some fake flowers, and the brads go through just a little punch, a little circle punch, then poked through with the brad, and then the flowers and everything is glued on the edge. And see, that looks really cute that way too. So, just finding all those visibility spots, just like Natasha was doing. This one I did a little differently. Um, I had a little rectangle of this cardstock, and so I just cut it on a diagonal and put it on opposite corners. I went, well, that works. So, and this is just a little piece of paper, and this was from one of my rubber stamps. So I thought, well, that works really well. Tucks in there, a little fussy cut. Mm. I think I picked up these butterflies at a thrift store. There was a little package of them. They're stickers. And yeah, so this is just a hinged page. And this little strip here is I'm covering up the barcode information. So I wanted to use these pages, but they had all this, uh, barcode stuff. So that's what that is. So I didn't do three pockets, I did two pockets. And in this case, what I did was I cut out the long strip and I wrapped the the pockets around the edge. So they just wrapped them around. So I've got the maximum width of the pocket. And just made a little card to slip in the belly band. Okay. These just some offcuts I turned into little corners that I decided, well, those could be little tuck spots. Lots of writing space. I was striving to have writing space in a lot of the places, to have lots of writing things. So I had to make this. I just had to. And then what I did with these is that each one of the layers is a 1/4 inch longer than the previous one. Not exact, but basically I started with a 3.5 inch piece and then went to 3 3/4 and 4 and so on. And then when I started to get down here, I could see where I could make them a little longer and it just came out just right. I sewed on some lace. I thought it was pretty cool. I happened to have some lace that had this dark green, and there was this dark green in here, and I had the light green cardstock, and I had these green flowers that matched perfectly, and I had little brads that were the dark green, and it was just all working out so well, and I had them all. So, writing spot, I thought this was such a cool page. I didn't want to cover it up. So I just left this one as is. And this is the center. And again, just what Natasha did is she put something across to reinforce. I also have a little piece of tape in here so that when I punched the hole in here, that was like, this just wasn't really enough. I decided I'd put a piece of tape in and then I glued these on. And I do have a little tag thing in there. And this, I mean, she's right. Mandala coloring books. I have one. I went, well, right, I could just cut them out and use them, right? This is a little hand sewn booklet. So, I mean, I'm just duplicating almost exactly what she did, just using different supplies and making a few different decisions. This was fun. I found this was in a magazine, and it's travel luggage with all of the the travel stamps on all of antique luggage. And I went, well, I have to use this somehow. This is a travel theme, so I had to use it. So I sewed on a piece of coffee dyed paper, and and then I realized it was a little bit wide because I still have that pocket in there, but I went, you know what? It's okay. I'll just cut a smaller tag to go in here. It doesn't have to be full width. So I just went ahead and glued it down and created that hinge. I did put on the binding thread, I did put on a couple of dangles, but I decided that since most of the time this is going to be standing up, I mean it stands up really well, right? So most of the time it's going to be standing up. I decided not to have it dangle below the level of the bottom. That's why I didn't want anything hanging down because I wanted have it standing up. Okay, so this was a tea-dyed envelope that I had, so I just did a little stenciling and put a few little card things in here. This is a little flip open. Just put a sticker on there. There's another one of those butterflies. Isn't that fun? And now these being stickers, I'll just mention this because they were stickers. I positioned it where I wanted it on the page, but then I cut a piece of the tea-dyed paper so that, or coffee, whatever it was, to the shape of this edge. And after sticking it on the back of the sticker, I went around and fussy cut the excess dyed paper around the wings. So that's how I wound up with that because of the stickers holding it onto this page. So this was kind of different. I had all these little strips left over from trimming the pages that I was using in this. And I started out with just one, and my piece of paper flopped around, and I went, well, why not do three? So I did. I glued in three belly bands. So it's a little finagling there, but so that's just a little writing page. This is some more of those little corner. See that one? Yep. See that one's a tuck spot. That one's a tuck spot. I could leave that up here. There we go. Little writing cards. More pockets. So I went a little simpler on these. Okay. And oops, I didn't do that right. I'm gonna have to fix that because that's a little flip down. I'll have to fix that. Okay, so I did the little matchbook kind of thing here. I did it kind of a horizontal version. Did a little more of the flowers. I wanted to bring some of the flowers into the second half, so I did the same thing there. Just a little writing spot. Oh, this is this that one? Yes. I had this page from the one of the pads, one of the paper pads, and I kind of wanted to have the whole thing. I didn't want to glue half of it down and just have it a simple flip out. I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun to have it a flip out and a flip out? How can I do that? Ah, okay. I actually used a piece of tape. You can't really see it, but it's a piece of the white artist tape that I used and I put it down. But there was also on the edge of this paper some more of the barcode and company information. So I just had this little offcut. So I put the tape down to hold this side and put that to mask the barcode stuff. So now we have a flip out here and a flip out here. I haven't seen that done before, so I was going like, how am I going to do this? I love it. I think it's fun. So that's doing its flip out, and this is a flip down and a pocket. So this was in the scrap that one of the little paper pads, and so I cut out a little fake rubber stamp that has a little airplane on it and just made it into sort of a postcard from some more of the little offcuts. A little sticker. And so, yes, I did the hidden paper clip. Got another little something there, corner pocket, a few little pieces, and the back. So a little mini collage. And there's all those. Took a little while to get all those beads on. I spent probably an hour, I think, on the sewing the signature. So there it is. Adventure for sure. This was an adventure in embellishing and creating all of this layered look. I've never done anything like this before. I've never done this much embellishing in such a concentrated way. I think it's so pretty. It came out really, really nice. I'm pleased. I learned a lot, got a lot of new ideas. And I think, I'm going to hang on to this one and for a little while, and I think I'm going to do it again. Completely different theme, different colors, try something really, really different. I have some ideas floating around. You know how it is. You do some of this stuff and it generates new ideas. So there is my version of Natasha's treasure books um, layered journal. I hope I got all of the pages on camera. I'll check this before publishing. Uh, so thank you so much for being here. I hope you got some ideas from seeing another version, but definitely the links are in the description box, and I'm going to put them up in the corner to go watch Natasha's videos where she does it step by step by step. And that makes it so much easier. But it still took quite a lot of time for me to pull things out and oh, I want to go get this ribbon, I want to go get this butterfly, I want to go get these flowers. It just takes time to pull out everything and put it all together. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.